Hi, this is HUDSON Head from the San Diego Padres, and you're listening to the FriarLounge podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FriarLounge podcast, where we regularly talk in depth about the San Diego Padres. We cover the big league club, our minor league clubs, rumors, and the NL West. Let's get started. My name is Mark Collier. I'm joined this evening by Nick Recchia. Nick, how's it going?
Doing great, Mark. How you doing?
Excellent, Nick. And also by George Arce. George, welcome to the show.
Mark, Nick, Padre fans, how's everybody doing?
Excellent. Guys, I'm glad we're here to talk some Padre baseball. So one thing we're going to be talking about this evening is, a little bit about the 2020 season or lack thereof. And then we have an exciting show for you tonight. At the end of the show, we'll be talking to, we recorded an interview recently with Mr. HUDSON Head of the San Diego Padres. Excited to share that with you all. Definitely stay tuned for that. And prior to that, we're going to be talking a little bit about Hudson and doing some overview, just kind of assessing his game a little bit before we get into the interview. So, but guys, let's just jump right in, and we're going to talk about the 2020 season a little bit next. Anything that you can report? We'll just have an open dialogue about that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the 2020 season, we've been hearing some mixed things over the past several weeks. The most recent news I think I came across today was that now there's 3 states in consideration for the opening of the 2020 season if we get it underway, and that's Arizona, Florida that we knew, and now Texas is in the mix since that state's considering doing some openings. But yeah, it's still an early talk, so we'll see. But ultimately, I think there's some concerns, still some questions, and one of baseball's best players, in Mr. Mikey Trout, came out the other day with some concerns and some pretty valid questions, guys, because he's having his first baby in a handful of months. His wife's pregnant, and one big question he laid out was, what happens when his wife goes into labor? Is he allowed to leave? Because he's not going to miss the birth of his first kid, and when he comes back, is he quarantined for 2 weeks where he can't play a game? So, still a lot of questions to be answered, and we'll see what happens. Tank, what do you got? What do you think about the 2020 season, man?
Yeah, obviously the 3 states there all have facilities that could have multiple games going on at the same time, whether it's Arizona or in Florida. Florida obviously has 2 major league stadiums, but a host of spring training facilities. Arizona has the 1 major league and then the wealth of spring training ones as well. Texas has 5 major league ballparks, plus a ton of minor league stadiums throughout the state. So definitely between those 3 states, you have the amount of facilities to facilitate that. One thing I'd like to shred a small, hopefully sliver of hope for everybody, or share that. The Korea Baseball Organization, the KBO, is actually going to be starting off their season on May 5th. So hopefully it's a glimpse of a possible future for MLB, that there will be some semblance of baseball played this year. They will be playing over in the Korea Baseball League in front of no fans, but they will be playing baseball starting on May 5th. So hopefully, like I said, a little bright spot there and a light possibly at the end of the tunnel here for MLB and the fans here in the States.
Well, and I'll just jump in. Like, George, you mentioned Mike Trout. Like, obviously he's, one of the main faces of this game. And, I'm sure most of all players will want to get back on the field and play baseball, but there's definitely things to consider when you're thinking about safety of your family. You're thinking about, people having kids, right? That's probably um, a common scenario that players are going to face, where, hey, do I not get to see my wife and kid after, how's that? Their priority needs to be, I need to be able to step away for 2 weeks to see my family. That's what's going to need to be. But how does that impact an Angels team in a sprint who's trying to win a division, right? In a modified division, if you will. There's just so many things to think about that you probably can't even anticipate until you are put in that situation in a lot of ways. And if I'm Mike Trout, like, yeah, I'm getting paid handsomely to play a sport I love, but I would want to be there with my wife too, So, it's interesting, but yeah, guys. Anything else on the 2020 season front, before
Yeah, I
we
got
move
one
on?
really quick, guys. Just we're talking about the MLB level, and the opportunity to play in 3 states and having options. But what about the minor league levels? What happens to those leagues, and are those players going to have the ability to partake in some games? What's the word on the street on that?
Well, Nick, why don't you go ahead? I'll take that first.
Yeah, no. As of right now, there's talks of there not being a minor league baseball season at this point. So, yeah, 2 months ago, let's say this: 2 months ago, I don't think anybody foretold there being kind of a shutdown across the country. So I think it's kind of impossible to forecast what everything is going to be like in another 2 months. With some states opening up, some states still remaining more or less shut down. So, we'll see what happens in a couple months. But as of right now, I don't believe MLB has plans for a minor league baseball season. And we'll be sharing what some minor league players are going to be occupying their time with later on in the show.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, 2020, I think we can just hope that things return to somewhat normal, and we see some baseball. Obviously, without fans in the stadium, that's not going to be normal. But seeing baseball on TV would feel kind of normal, I think, guys. And so, that would be something that would be selfishly great for me because I would be able to pass the time and have something to do. But at the same time, like, let's put people's lives first. That's what really matters here. So, um, anyway, well, I think maybe it's time, Nick. You wanna segue into talking about our featured guest tonight?
Absolutely. So the Friar Lounge team was incredibly excited to be able to talk to one of the top prospects for your San Diego Padres, Mr. Hudson Head. And talking about Hudson, it was a third rounder last year in the MLB June draft, a $3 million bonus baby out of a high school, San Antonio High School. He brings a lot to the table. And what you'll be able to learn is sounds like he's about just as good of a kid as he is a baseball player. Padres got a very exciting student of the game to join the organization this last June. So Hudson, we were talking about the player that Hudson is. He's a 6'1" center fielder at the Don Welke Classic this last fall. He was playing right field in a couple of those games. So he definitely gives you some outfield versatility. It's a left-handed bat. He just has a lot of those quick twitch muscles. So he can whip the bat through the zone in a quick fashion. He's got a good arm, good speed. Talk about a 5'2" athlete. He's definitely somebody that fits that mold. So,
Yeah, I was excited to have a conversation with him. He's a smart kid, clearly focused. I don't want to give too much away because the interview will kind of stand on its own. The guy was he's a great interview. And he's focused on playing ball, but also I think he's got at just turning 19, got a good head on his shoulders, understanding the gravity of what's going on in our country right now, and focused on being at home and trying to stay prepared, trying to stay in shape. I think he understands what we're going through. So, but to be honest, like just going back to spring training, we were all there and we got to see him swing the bat, and he was hitting behind C.J. Abrams, and certainly it projects as a top of the order type of guy, and he's got a very very fluid swing, and which you'll learn more about this evening and when you listen to the interview. Um, you know, he wants the spotlight and is pushing himself to be one of the best players he can be, and that's a guy you want on your team. So I'm excited to have you all have a listen, and love to hear what your thoughts are, Padre fans, of your take on the interview from Hudson Head. And George, do you have any thoughts and just the time you spent there? I know you saw him, Hudson and CJ hitting in the cage a little bit. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, guys, the one thing to be super excited about is seeing these kids, 19, 17, 16 years old, and just showing the level of maturity. Because if you remember where we were all at those ages, man, night and day, and these guys, showing up to the field early, working on their craft and their game. It's great to see, guys. It's great to see, and want to see where these guys are going to be in 3 to 5 years in the organization. So, good call in the organization on drafting great kids. And
Without further ado, let's talk about Mr. Hudson Head.
Hello, Padre fans. I'm very excited today. We have a special guest with us, one of the top prospects in the Fry organization, outfielder Hudson Head of the San Diego Padres. Hudson, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Thanks. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you. And, goal here today is just to find out how you're doing and understand what's going on in your world. Maybe at first I'll start off by, how are you holding up without baseball?
When I first came back, it was really tough because, I'd wake up each morning wishing was heading to the field and not just heading downstairs to my normal kitchen. But now, as time has moved on, it's been pretty good. I have everything kind of set up the way I need it.
Okay.
And so, I'm getting my training in, getting my workouts in. So everything right now, it's getting better and better.
So is the training that you're doing, is that just mostly at home, or are you able to train with any other players, maybe locally, or are you in connection with your coaches, I'm assuming?
Yeah. So most of lifting wise, that's done at home. But I recently just found a cage to hit in. So me and old high school teammate go and hit and work out and stuff.
Okay, that's good. So, and in terms of just communication with coaches, is that something you talk to them a little bit about, just how you're doing, how you're progressing? Do you have certain goals that you work on with them? Just wondering about that.
Yeah, they check in periodically, probably every 2 weeks, and we have conversations. It's different coaches each time, but yeah, right now a goal I guess during this quarantine is just to maintain and hopefully get stronger. Because it's unprecedented time, and nobody has been through this, so everyone's kind of feeling it out as it goes.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, maybe we'll shift gears a little bit to talking about when you were playing baseball.
Uh-huh.
We had the privilege of being in Peoria and got to see you play some ball in the backfields. Some of your teammates, and just I think you had a pretty busy schedule. We didn't get a chance to connect directly, but which is understandable. And I think for me, I just would love to know, what that experience was like, because that's your first minor league camp. Cause I know you spent time in the rookie league,
Yeah.
but just love to know the time you were there, what that was like, and anything you have to say about that would be great.
Yeah, so I mean, as you know, it was my first spring training, so
Yeah.
I decided to head out there early before minicamp. So I was there about 2 weeks before minicamp started, and there was a small group of us working with some of the big league guys. And then once minicamp started, schedule got a whole lot busier. But what I learned from that is just because big league guys, you can get to talk to them, you get to pick their brains. So I was just trying to learn as much as I can from those kind of guys. Really taking that time to really learn how to be a professional during spring training. Just try to go about my business the right way, and then feeling out what was good for me and what wasn't.
And when you say professional, does that just mean having a routine and being focused on getting better as a ball player?
Yeah. So yeah, just going out, doing my business the right way, making sure my body's right for the next day, of course, because they're long days. It's a grind in spring training. So in order to perform the best, I mean, you're trying to make the highest team you can make out of spring training. So everything you do is only trying to help yourself.
Did you, any of the big league ball players, that stood out to you in terms of just who were mentors or supportive of you as a young ball player?
Josh Naylor, I met him when I showed up early before minicamp, and he's an outfielder as well. So it was me, Grant Little, and Naylor, and we're all just out there picking his brain and learning what his experiences was like, because he's a high school guy as well. So I was just trying to learn as much as I can from him.
Awesome. Oh, that's great to hear. So you recently You recently had a birthday, correct?
Yes,
19.
I did.
Okay. Anything fun to speak about there?
Not really, just kind of spend it at home with my family.
Okay.
But
Okay.
which was nice because I thought last year was my last birthday spent with my family at home, so I cherished that time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So currently, Hudson is ranked number 13th over as the number 13th overall prospect in the San Diego Padres organization, according to MLB. He's also ranked number 7th overall with Fangraphs. Um, you know, so let's go and how you got that ranking. I think is a little bit about where the Padres took you in the draft. I think they
Yeah.
taking you third overall with a significant investment in you as a third rounder, and I think you showed real well in the rookie league, and would love to just hear a little bit about your thoughts and experiences in that rookie league and what that jump was like from high school ball to that league.
Oh yeah. So I mean, coming from high school, obviously I was kind of top of the totem pole in terms of high school baseball, and then I show up to rookie league, and everyone was the best on their respective teams where they came from, and so everyone's got talent, and you got to show why you're there, and so I told myself I know I can do it, just got to show everyone else, just gotta play my game, and everything will work out fine.
Yeah, I gotta say just to pause on that real quick is, from my vantage point, I got to see you a little bit in spring, and I got to see a lot of tape of you in the just in kind of your early showing and some of your experience, I guess, in high school. And I gotta say, man, you got a swing that a lot of people would love to have. Is there a player that growing up you were just like? I'm sure a lot of fans would really love to know like who you looked up to as a player, and maybe is there a one player that stands out that was just like some guy that you emulated because that was the swing that you loved. Love to hear that.
Yeah, so growing up, that's when the Rangers were real good. And so I love to watch Josh Hamilton highlights, and so I I would try to emulate his swing, emulate his game. And actually, during the AZL season, my hitting coach Jed Morris and we would like if something didn't feel right, we'd always actually go back and watch Josh Hamilton video just to see how his mechanics were, how he went about things, and
Wow.
so we do that and try to implement it into my swing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Any of your players, any of the players that you connected with in the rookie league, as far as just like players you built relationships with. Obviously, that's like you said. There's a lot of talent there. Anyone you formed a bond with, or just I guess a lot of those players you will most likely be someone you come up with the ranks with. Any thoughts there or things you can share with us?
Yeah, so Abrams, CJ, we got to know each other pretty well, and then competitively, we every day we push each other. You can be better and better. And then my roommate was Josh Mears,
Okay.
so I connected really well with the high school guys, and then college guys like Tyler Malone, who was on my AZL team. He obviously he won a national championship at Oregon State, so he's had some success in baseball. So I would try to pick his brain as well, and he also is a father figure to me as well. Kind of a mentor. Teach me how to go about things.
Okay. And with those gentlemen that you mentioned, Mears and Abrams, was it more of just camaraderie, or were you kind of learning? Obviously, both talented players. Anything you learned from them as far as like the way they go about their business? Just would love to know any thoughts. I see them both as talented players coming up the ranks with you, but just would love to know if there's anything there that stands out to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're watching the games, Abrams will catch your eye immediately, but he's so electric on the base pass. I would try to pick his brain and try to, I guess, gain his aggressiveness on the base pass and his confidence. So
Okay.
just watching him, you're learning, and then Mir is obviously a big physical guy, So I was trying to just watch how powerful his swing is. Like he swing, if you watch him swing a bat, you you'll notice like he's a big dude. So it's just overall fun watching both the guys play.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, on that note, you are a center fielder, at least playing center fielder with the Padres. Have you played other positions in the outfield or around the diamond, and would love to know, in addition to that, is there a certain spot in the lineup where Hudson really wants to, like, where you would prefer, whether that's leadoff, at the top of the order? Do you have a preference there? So I'll ask you those two questions.
Yeah, so I mean, they had me move around in an instructional league. I played all three outfield positions, and then just being confident, I guess I would love to hit third. I want to be the guy, in the lineup. So yeah, in middle of the order.
Love it, man. That's what Padre fans want to hear, and you've got the you've got the talent, and also it takes, just from being a fan my entire life and being close to baseball. You need folks like you and players like you to want to be in that position of hey, this is when things matter. So I'm glad to hear it. That's exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
and obviously I would hit wherever the manager would put me, but just selfishly, I'd love to hit in the middle
hey,
of the order.
love it. Love to hear that. Well, and so you in let's see, going back to the rookie league, I think you played about 30 something games,
Close to
and
that, yeah.
looking at it, and I think you started off with a 13 game hitting streak. I'm pretty sure that maybe you don't track those types of things, but us Padre fans do. Were
Uh-huh.
you aware of that?
I might have been.
Okay.
I, because just as a player, I know after each game you reflect, and then so I guess in the early part of the season I didn't learn to forget the past game, either good or bad. You just gotta have a short memory because once you get complacent with what you're doing, you're gonna go into a slump. But yeah, season started off pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's great. I thought you did a great job. One thing, real quick, is I understood that you were touted for football as well as a multiplayer athlete. Is that, can you let me a little bit know more about that, and maybe if that's true, why did you decide to choose baseball over football?
So I really don't know where that. I'm not gonna confirm or deny the rumor because it's pretty cool. But no,
Okay.
I wasn't a football prospect by any means. Like I didn't start a game after my freshman year when I played corner, but I was the backup quarterback my junior year,
Okay.
and yeah, and I did throw with my right arm, but I never rolled out and threw with my left. That was just one day in practice where I brought it up to my coach because my sophomore year, I right before the season started, I broke my right arm, which I throw with. So that whole season, I was just trying to throw with my left, and so that came out as a joke. But yeah, I played quarterback in high school a little bit, but it wasn't anything special.
Okay. So it wasn't like you had to choose between the two. You've been all in on baseball.
Yeah, it was baseball all the way. I loved football, and then all my friends played football, so that was a fun part. But yeah, I was just a guy who thought he had a strong arm and would just throw it all over the place.
Okay. Okay. Um, so you grew up in Texas. Obviously, you mentioned your background with Josh Hamilton and kind of following him. If you could just give us a little background on what that was like growing up in Texas, and are you still in Texas now?
I am still in Texas now, but growing up in Texas, I guess I don't know. Big one thing I can say about Texas is a big high school football atmosphere. It's hard to beat Texas high school football, but all the athletic environment in Texas is all big, and so like high school playoffs for baseball, that was always real fun time because large crowds got to play in Wolf Stadium, which Padres used to have the missions. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, just Texas is highly uh, big sports environment, I guess.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm gonna move to a bit of a, we'll call it a speed round. Just I'm gonna fire off questions for you, and hope this will probably be relatively short. You can expand on as much as you like. Um, I think you said so. My first question was going to be the player you grew up, but that was Josh Hamilton. Is there anyone else that stands out besides Hamilton that was just a player that you followed or had a poster on your wall or anything like that?
Just as a left-handed hitting outfielder, I love to watch Ken Griffey highlights.
Okay.
I think every hitter would die to have that swing. So I'd also watch him.
Is your favorite sport always been baseball?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a video gamer?
I mean, I play video games, but it's more to pass the time. Not particularly good at them.
Okay. What is something fun that you do that's not baseball?
Uh, you know, I mean, I love to golf.
All right.
I got real into golf after this past season, and so I mean, it's one of the few things we could do during quarantine as well. So I've been golfing a lot.
That's good. You go with family or something like that?
Just friends.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. What's one thing that most people don't know about you?
Whew.
Kind of a loaded question, but I just would, if there's something that the fans might appreciate about you that maybe they'd love to know as they follow you through the ranks.
Well, I mean, it's nothing too special or anything, but family and I have a Great Dane, and so we make it kind of a joke about it that like we're the family with the Great Dane in the neighborhood, and so obviously we love him to death. So I guess that's one thing.
All right. I have a dog myself. What's your dog's name?
Cyrus.
Cyrus. Okay.
And there was a joke for a little bit in high school where if the dog weighed more than I did, but finally my senior year I exceeded his weight.
You bulked up a little bit. Right
yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so this is something I read recently. Is Chris Paddock was talking about. He has a kind of a ritual before every start that he has. He goes and eats a large pizza apparently before the night before every start. Baseball players can tend to be kind of creatures of habit. Is there anything that you do, and this maybe go into a bit of your preparedness for a game? Is there anything you're doing either on game day or the night before games where you're prepping or you're doing stuff to that's kind of a ritualistic thing for you?
Well, so last year, through high school and up till through rookie ball, I'd always have one guy where we'd have a handshake before a game. Usually my throwing partner, after we're done throwing, gets to the line and we do a little handshake. But also, I mean, the normal listening to music and stuff, but nothing too crazy.
Okay. So kind of going back to, we were talking a little bit about your center fielder. Is that something where you feel comfortable playing any outfield position, or is center? You're obviously a speed guy, right? Is it something where you move well left and right, and is that where you just feel most comfortable than playing a corner? Obviously, being a young player, you'll probably could play in a lot of different places, but you seem like a natural center fielder. Just tell me a little bit about how that came about, and if you feel comfortable playing all positions.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it is just because I've played center field the most, so I'm most comfortable there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm comfortable playing all three outfield spots. Right field, I prefer right field more than left field, but that's just a reps thing. I haven't had the time in left field that I've spent in right field.
Okay, gotcha. Let's see. What type of music are you listening to these days? Anything that stands out to you that young Padre fans would love to connect, would understand what Hudson's listening to?
Well, during the season and then during off season, it's a little different because during the season, the music I listen to is more to like hype me up, get focused.
Okay.
And that's just mainly rap music. And then I also throw in the Ace of Spades, Motorhead, Iron Maiden. You gotta have to listen to the guitar solos right there.
There you go.
But then during times like these, I guess a lot of people like Post Malone, I guess.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Let's see. I think that's kind of like wrapping up a lot of my questions. Is there anything, Hudson, that you want people to know about you or to know about you as a ball player? Just want to give you that opportunity to be able to connect with the fans, or if you have anything you want to say to the fans as far as like who are eagerly waiting for baseball to come back, as I know you are. Is there anything you want to share with them?
I guess just me as a player, I love the game. I love watching the game. I love the little nuances of the game, never stepping on the line. I always have my batting gloves in the same back pocket, But a guy that, genuinely loves playing the game. And then so always love talking to fans, always like to hear what they have